Everybody, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. So the first item this evening is going to be the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank everybody for coming this evening. The next item on the agenda this evening is going to be public comment. I have one person, so Mr. Gerloff, if you could please approach the podium, state your full name, your address, and 5 minutes, please.
It won't take no 5 minutes. My name's Gerald Gerloff, and I live on 1505 South Garfield, Junction City. Last City Commission meeting, at the end, all of the commissioners plus the staff was pushing very strongly, which they should, cleanup of Junction City. As the people that know me, I spend a lot of time in parks here watching squirrels, working on my new puzzle and whatnot, just watching people. I drive around town doing the same thing, just observing. A couple of years ago, the city was told, and then the city agreed, that they needed a new street sweeper. After that they needed a new one because the old two were broke most of the time. After that sweeper came in online for a short period of time, a couple months maybe, you could find the tracks of a street sweeper all over town here. They were going around a block 4 and 5 times in the block, and then moving to the next block and going around 4 or 5 times. And in the beginning, you could see two sweepers out there. It wasn't long, and there was only one. And it wasn't long after that, there was none. I notice as I drive that things like South Park, it hasn't been swept there. There's last year's leaves still on the street there, on 5th Street, that are adjacent to city property. That's not even adjacent to homeowners' property. I haven't seen a track of a street sweeper anywhere basically all winter because of the fact they do leave those marks there that you can tell that they're there. And then we haven't had any precipitation to wash them away. Tonight it looks like I'm going to be crying in the storm because it looks like there's going to be some rain out there. But when I see people out on the streets with sacks in gullies and stuff picking up trash, which is very good. We need to have that as a public first impression of it. But then when we leave and we look at those same streets, we find last year's leaves and stuff. What good has it done to pick that stuff, the paper up or the plastic up when we leave the other things there? And then it's been argued many times that they get into the sewer and clog the sewer up. I think right now there's a big project, or has been a big project, at cleaning sewers here in town. If for the last X number of years the streets have been swept on some sort of a regular basis, that expense may not have existed today. And but thanks for, I know I haven't been the one out there picking it up, but thanks for the concern of picking up the trash and stuff. But this is just an extension of it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I just need to point out that Mayor Pat Lance is away at other commitments this evening, as well as our city attorney is also not with us this evening. Next item this evening is going to be the consent agenda. No, I think it's cold. And it starts. Take it everybody had a chance, they reviewed it, sent any questions, concerns over to Mr. Dinkle.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor reply by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0, thank you. Next item this evening is going to be the special presentations. We have 3 proclamations this evening. The first one is going to be for Mental Health Month, and I'll go ahead and get that done.
Possible for me to say something?
Not yet.
Okay.
So you go ahead and come up. Okay, so the first proclamation this evening is going to be on the Mental Health Month, 2018 proclamation. Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives, and whereas prevention is an effective way to reduce the burden of mental health conditions, and whereas there is a strong research that diet, exercise, sleep, and stress management can help all Americans protect their health and well-being, and whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, and whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives, and whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen shares the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention efforts. Therefore, the City of Junction City does hereby proclaim May 2018 as Mental Health Month and calls upon the citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in the City of Junction City to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health, its relationship to a strong, vibrant community, the steps our citizens could take to protect their mental health, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions. Signed today,
Why don't
Phyllis
you sign
Fitzgerald,
these
Vice
are
Mayor.
Nicer ones. There's 2 here.
Okay, this one is for you.
Thank you.
Okay. And if you'd like to say something, please.
Yeah, why don't you take
Okay.
one of these? Okay. Yeah, I'll just take a couple of minutes, but I'm a board member of Pawnee Mental Health, and there's 2 of us from Junction City, Andrea Mace and myself, and we go to a meeting once a month to meet with the Pawnee Mental Health serves 10 counties in the area. Geary County is the second largest, only to Riley County. And over the years of me being on the board, which is probably 5 or 6 years now, every year the agency seems to take more and more cuts. And in spite of the fact that we take more and more financial cuts, they do more and more work. So they're kind of amazing. I would like to read a couple of things to you. This is from Robin, who is our executive director for Pawnee Mental Health, and she has been in that position for a number of years now. Pawnee Mental Health Services is here to serve individuals and families, as the Vice Mayor said, with mental illness and substance abuse disorders. It's a 24-hour day, 7-day a week, 365 days a year service. They never close. And if someone's in crisis, there's always someone to call. And they have been providing this to many communities for many years. Just a few of the statistics that are kind of enlightening and overwhelming all at the same time. In the past year, people have seen Pawnee Mental Health for therapy and recovery services over 4,000. Substance abuse, 1,400. Crisis, services, 1,200 youth rehabilitation services, close to 700 youth and adolescents have been served, and medical services about 3,000. So it's serving a big community in all of the 10 counties. Some of the services that they provide, as far as therapy is concerned, they help people of all ages with difficulties relating to thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and relationships. Medical service, they provide counseling, especially when it involves medication. Crisis services are for people who are in crisis at that moment and need to have help immediately, day or night. Youth rehabilitation services provide support to families who have children with emotional issues, severe emotional issues. Adult rehabilitation services help adults with severe and persistent mental illnesses so that they can maybe get to some type of a normal life. They help them with goals and social skills and job skills, and a lot of people do recover. And finally, recovery services, helping clients with chemical dependency, which is a big one. So those are just some of the services of Pawnee Mental Health, and this is the kickoff of Pawnee Mental Health Month, May 1st. It was on the national news this evening. There's many ways you can make contributions. Money is probably the best. So I would encourage you to look into it, and this would be a good time to do it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
The next item this evening is going to be a proclamation declaring May the 20th through May the 26th is National Public Works Week. Okay, so City of Junction City Proclamation National Public Works Week, May the 20th through the 26th, 2018. Whereas public works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives. And whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry, oh gosh, that's a terrible word, is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as water, sewers, streets and highways, public buildings and solid waste collection. And whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on these facilities and services. And whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, are vitally dependent upon the efforts and skill of public works officials. And whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff public works departments is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. Now, therefore, I, Phyllis Fitzgerald, Vice Mayor, Junction City, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of May 20 through 26, 2018 as National Public Works Week in the City of Junction City. And I call upon all citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the work and services in which our public works staff provides, and to recognize the contributions which our staff and officials make every day in bringing and providing safe, efficient, and quality public services. Given under my hand and seal of the City of Junction City, State of Kansas, this first day of May 2018.
Thank you, Vice
Would you
Mayor.
like to say anything?
Thank you, Vice Mayor Fitzgerald. It's a great way to recognize all the women and men that work in public works, especially those that maintain our water systems, sewer systems, streets, sanitation, stormwater. Also, during the week of May 20th through the 26th, we'll hold a luncheon out at Public Works, and we will invite the commissioners and all city personnel to come out and enjoy lunch and converse with those individuals, so to recognize what they do. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I thank our Public Works because I know they do a fantastic job, and I always see them out working very hard. So I do appreciate you guys. Okay, the next item this evening is a EMS Week proclamation. So the week of May 20 through 26, 2018 is Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of the City of Junction City Fire Department are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas City of Junction City Fire Department has grown to fill a gap by providing important out of hospital by providing advanced life support care to patients, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, emergency nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers, and whereas the members of the City of Junction City Fire Department and our partners, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills, and whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services provided by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, I, Phyllis Fitzgerald, Vice Mayor of the City of Junction City, Geary County, Kansas, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 20 through 26, 2018 as Emergency Medical Services Week with the theme, EMS Strong, Stronger Together. I encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities.
Our personnel that provide EMS services are vital to pre-hospital care, as everybody knows. The hours and the time that they put in, the runs that they make, the people that they serve, they're an amazing bunch of people. And to get the community together to recognize them for the hard work that they do is special. So we hope that if you see the crews out there, everybody will say thank you to them because they work hard. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item this evening is going to be appointments. Consider the appointment of Ricardo Vieira to the Board of Trustees of the Dorothy Bramlage Public Library for a 4-year term expiring April 2022.
Vice Mayor and Commissioners, this is simply replace Lloyd Kreitz, who served 2 terms and is not eligible for a 3rd term, so Mr. Vieira has agreed to serve.
Well, I personally appreciate everybody that steps up to the plate to volunteer to want to serve the community, serve the citizens here, and it is greatly appreciated.
Make a motion to approve Mr. Vieira as the appointment of the library board.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor reply by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Vieira, for again stepping up to volunteer to sit on the Dorothy Bramlage Public Library. We appreciate it. Next item we're going to roll into is into the new business. First item up this evening is going to be consideration of a temporary cereal malt beverage license to Sundown Salute for the Mud Bog that will be held in the 900 to 1000 block of Grant Avenue from May the 18th through May the 20th. Mr. Finkel?
Simply, they need their cereal beverage license for the Mud Bog. And of course, that's going to be a fundraiser for Sundown Salute. We've done in the past, never had any issues, so.
Make a motion to approve the temporary cereal malt beverage license to Sundown Salute for the Mud Bog to be held in 900 to 1000 block of Grand Avenue starting May 18th, 2018 and ending on May 20th, 2018.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item this evening is the consideration of the agreement with Compliance One for random drug testing services. Mr. Dinkle?
Vice Mayor and Commissioners, the only reason we were doing this contract is the company's changed names or ownership, so Compliance One, same price that we've been paying. We random test our public health, our police and fire, public safety employees, as well as our CDL qualified drivers. So just think we've done, and no issues with the company, done a good job taking care of us. So recommend approval.
Make a motion, we approve the agreement with Compliance One for random drug testing services.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Next item this evening is going to be the consideration to purchase one 2018 Ford Taurus from Dick Edwards in the amount of $21,962 and to declare one 2007 Chevrolet Impala as surplus and approve the sale of the vehicle by auction. Chief Breesy.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Vice Mayor and Commissioners. I come before you tonight to seek approval to purchase one 2018 Ford Taurus in the amount of $21,962 from Dick Edwards Ford in Junction City. This vehicle replaced a 2007 Chevrolet Impala that is 11 years old. The current vehicle is aging and getting to the point where it is not as reliable as it should be for a police vehicle that is driven on a daily basis. On March 30th, 2018, the Junction City Police Department released a request for bid for one 2018 mid-size sedan. The request for bid was placed on the city website and then the Daily Union on March 30th. The bid opening was scheduled for April 18th, 2018 at 3 p.m. On that date and time, the following bids were received. Dick Edwards Ford, Junction City, one Ford Taurus, $21,962. From Jim Clark Chevrolet, Junction City, a Chevy Impala, $21,984.60. The budget impact. The purchase of this vehicle will come from the department's 2018 budget, as this was a budgeted purchase. Special considerations, there are none. Alternatives, the commission may approve, deny, or postpone this item. Recommendation from staff is to purchase a 2018 Ford Taurus and declare one 2000 Chevy Impala as surplus and approve the sale of the vehicle for auction. I'd welcome any questions in regard to our fleet that
This
you may
isn't a
have.
police package car, Dan, from what I read. Doesn't appear to be,
No.
right?
It will go to our community involvement unit. But it will be equipped with lights and siren and emergency equipment.
Do you know how much miles are on the?
In your packet, it should say, I think it was either
I was looking for it.
61 or 71,000.
Recommend the approval of the purchase of the 2018 Ford Taurus and declare one 2007 Chevrolet Impala as surplus and approve the sale of the vehicle by auction.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Next item this evening is the consideration of the billing and coding compliance program for the Junction City Fire Department. Chief Johnson.
Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Section 6401 of the Affordable Care Act provides for the service of a supplier for a particular industry in a category. And as EMS provider, we're required to have a compliance plan so that we can bill Medicare and Medicaid for services that we render. Without this compliance plan being on file and being updated, we could lose our ability to bill Medicare and Medicaid. So what we're bringing forward tonight under the Medicare, Medicaid, and the Children's Health Insurance Program and the Affordable Care Act requirements that are set down is we're asking you to approve the billing and coding program so that we can stay in compliance. The choices you have, you can either approve it, you can disapprove the billing plan, we can start over. which could put it at risk for an audit, and we could lose our billing process, or approve the billing and coding program. And this program the document has been reviewed by the city attorney. We've been emailing this thing back and forth since January, trying to get it to where it's supposed to be.
Is this a first introduction of having it, or you've had one and you've just brought it up to date and?
The ever-changing world of Medicare and Medicaid, it's now required. It was a recommendation, but they are now requiring it.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the billing and coding compliance program for the Junction City Fire Department.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Next item this evening is going to be commissioner comments and committee reports. Commissioner Underhill?
We had a chamber board meeting last week. There's EDC growth and activity, which is actually good. Should be announcing hopefully some victories here shortly. And then the chamber reorganization is moving forward and should get wrapped up here soon. So that was it.
More to follow is,
Yep.
okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Albrighton?
Yes, I just have a few comments here. I just want to kind of tag along with the proclamation we gave earlier with the Public Works and EMS. I just really want to give them sincere thank you on behalf of me and this commission. Just the work that they do with that line of work, you don't always hear a thank you, and I just had to take this opportunity to tell them thank you and for their hard work and all that they do on a day-to-day basis. And then also, I was able to attend last Saturday the cleanup. We had the citywide cleanup, and I feel like it was a huge success, despite the weather. It wasn't the best weather, but definitely a lot of people still showed out. We had the buses, vans, everybody had a good attitude, and even the pizza was good. So it was definitely. I say it was a huge success, and just thank everybody for coming out and being involved and making your city a little bit better. So thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Brown?
Well, I want to apologize for not making it last Saturday, but I was in Garden City or en route and back and forth to Garden City on Saturday. I apologize for that. I did attend the Flint Hills Regional Council meeting last week. I sent the financial reports out to all you guys, reference to that. Also, I did learn during that Manhattan and Fort Riley have now entered into a bulk salt agreement. I don't know if you're aware of that, Alan or Ray, but they have entered into under Manhattan's name, if you will. They have entered into a bulk salt agreement so there's a 5-year agreement that they have signed. And obviously, if other municipal entities or county entities or whatever want to get into this, they'll have to do it with the permission of Manhattan, not Fort Riley. So that's something we may want to look at down the road here, but it was announced in this last meeting that bulk agreement has been signed, and it is a 5-year agreement. But again, you'd have to get the permission from Manhattan to get into that or approach Manhattan about involving that and stuff. So I don't know whether that would, they have a huge storage facility out there, apparently.
On Fort?
And on Fort, that's correct, and that's where it's going to be kept at. So it's something that we might want to think about. But this agreement, from what they said, is not limited to just salt. Gravel, other types of commodities that are used in the type of stuff that Ray does, where we could open up the conversation about that kind of thing. Obviously, the more you buy, the cheaper it is. So it's something that, and that was the first time this had been brought up in the Flint Hills Regional Council meeting. And just hearing that this agreement had already been signed, it kind of surprised me a little bit. But I don't think anybody else was aware of it either. But they did talk a little bit about recycling also, and I know that's been a discussion ongoing for a long time because there is a new facility on post for recycling that only has 40 to 50% of the facility is being used, and so they could easily take in recycling from other entities. And if there was a way for us at some point to get involved with it, I know that it is, can be some money made off that, I believe. I know the county has a recycling program, but, you know, they do have plenty of room out there, so I know there is some discussion going on. It's kind of been a holdup here because of containers coming on to Fort Riley. That seems to be the problem, is what they said, Alan. So I'm sure you're probably aware of that, because I know that that's been on discussion for a long time. I don't think I have anything further, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Well, don't worry, I don't have a lot to say yet. So, some things in the past, like Commissioner Albrighton and Brown talked about, we had a fantastic Earth Day cleanup. So everybody that came out, and not only did we pick up trash and stuff, but we helped clean out some of the gutters in front of people's houses and things like that, the curb and gutter, that is. And myself and the mayor and police chief did a lot of Facebook video, or Facebook video, and or FaceTime video, and the mayor talked a little bit about, you know, what our responsibilities are where you live at. You're responsible for your curb and gutter out in front, and even out into halfway into the street. So please, you know, help all of us to help to continue to, you know, work on our community. And, you know, every day we make it better and better every day, and it takes all of us to do it. So, but Earth Day was a great day. I myself got a chance to go to Wizard of Oz a couple of times. Just want to throw a shout out to that. So if you didn't get to go, you missed a fantastic show. All the people in it were wonderful actors and everything. So to me, you know, the arts does a great job of putting on these shows, and adults and children alike can all be in it. You just have to go and try out. I also, along with Commissioner Brown, we attended some emergency management training last week with the county. We did that, a little bit of that training. A couple things we have coming up, or that are coming up tomorrow night, May the 2nd at 6 p.m., 6 to 8 at the Opera House, the Montgomery Rehearsal Hall. The library will be there because you've heard and probably read in the paper, heard on the news and all that. They've been looking at trying to expand the library. And so tomorrow night there will be a building conversation. So there'll be some structure talks in the very beginning, but then it'll go to some roundtable type conversation. So you want to learn anything about the library and what they want to do, that's the time to come. It's tomorrow, 6 to 8. The seating will be limited, so it's really first come, first served. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the library and what their plans or hopes are, tomorrow night would be a good time to learn a little bit more. This Sunday, May the 6th, for everybody who likes to go bowling, J.C. Bowl here in town is hosting a professional tournament, the Southwest Midwest Open. So if you're, you know, out and about and want to go and check out some of that bowling, the finals begin at noon down at J.C. Bowl on Sunday. So, you know, it's another thing that's in our community that maybe we try to get out and support it a little bit. And the last thing I would just like to say, because we won't meet again until the 14th, is our Junction City High School is going to be graduating. So congratulations to all those graduates, and lots of luck in your future endeavors. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and roll right on over to the city manager.
Okay, thank you. First of all, we do have some high school students here tonight, some class back there, so thanks for being here. A little bit follow-up on Commissioner Brown's stuff in the bulk. City staff has been meeting with Fort Riley staff. You know, some of the issues with the bulk salt is if we don't have enough storage and we keep it on Fort Riley, the distance for us to get there is immense because we'd have to go all the way around to 12th Street. Mm-hmm. And so some of those issues we look at, and unfortunately, some of the ideas we thought were rock star ideas to work together, were nixed by
The lawyers.
by lawyers and by contractors and everything else, because we thought that we could do some stuff with fire engines and repair that, because we have a rock star mechanic and do some things working together, but there's also a lot of obstacles. But I know all three of my department heads there have worked with trying to get some work, and we'll see where it goes. The salt issue is actually one where Manhattan was getting a cheaper price than Fort Riley was getting. So that's why it goes through Fort Riley or Manhattan rather than that. Got our health insurance renewal today. We'll have a 0 rate increase, so that's always good. We go to doing budgeting. Everything's working well on that one there. Met with the playground committee this morning, Mrs. Davis and all the group there. Probably they'll be bringing some presentations later on and go out to bid later this summer for the project. That group is doing a wonderful job in not only getting us to this point, but taking a look at a 3 to 5 year needs for the park and making plans for it and what they don't want to do, and they want to work with other groups, but when you get done, that looks like a unit that you don't go, what the heck happened here, kind of a deal. And if there's long-range plans, if you need to put a piece of pipe in the ground now, put it in the ground when things are tore up, and you can always pull wire afterwards or anything else. So real good planning. I sent a note to you, Commissioner, yesterday. The survey that I know some of you worked on and that group did just a lot of work last fall in doing was approved by the Kansas Department of Commerce. So the grant is good. We can rock forward now. And that survey, it was the first one in Kansas, as far as I know, that was done the random survey method, which means it was a random selection picked out, and you had to have 100% of that random area. And it was done, and there was a process did, and it was the first one to be approved in Kansas. So it had been tried for, but they didn't apply for the grant because they didn't have to write LMI, but in this case we did. The good part about this is that survey results is going to be good to at least 2021, maybe 2022. I know some of us are working with Call Valley. We're going to probably bring a proposal for a street some kind of project this year, because we can receive up to $700,000 in a community development block grant. And that survey, it's a powerful tool, and we owe a lot to that committee and everybody that was part of that last fall, and really appreciate that. Budget process, Shauna is working hard to get us on track with the budget process. We're going to have basically the same timetable as last year. We'll discuss that at the next meeting a little more. So moving right ahead, department heads, and so I think I get to be at department heads and get the red pen out in a couple of weeks. So. Looking forward to doing that. What really helps is, like I said, when you have some costs like health insurance that's not going up, our work comp numbers are getting better as far as our experience. So we're moving in that direction, which helps those costs, and we can move forward some things. The governor has not signed it yet, but the amusement ride legislation went through both the Senate and the House. At one time, we were going to have our slide inspected at the pool. Now it's up to 35 foot, so we're fine. We're 18 or 19 foot or so. The one question that's still out there yet is bounce houses. It says they have to be a certified operator and inspector. Don't quite know what that means yet, which may eliminate bounce houses, not only for us, but on city facilities such as parks. So we'll see where that goes. This is really a lot lighter than what was passed last year after the young man was killed at Schlitterbaum. But that legislation last year was so wide sweeping, and Senator Billinger from Goodland did a real good job of leading the process and making it, they made a solution for a problem that didn't exist, and they went way overboard, and they've got to, I think, calm down and that we can work with it this year. And a couple weeks ago, she saw my 515 last week. 2 weeks ago, we had a couple of 20-inch lines, 2 different occasions, 2 different lines, not related, that had problems. And I think I want to give praise to not only Public Works, Ray and his staff, Kerry and his staff at Viola. We got through both of those without anybody in town having any problems. A lot of weird issues. We have a line that I had never seen one of these. It's a steel line with concrete around it, and we have about 2 miles of it. And it's difficult to fix and everything else, but you talk about teamwork, and then I also want to send out praise to local contractor J&K for coming in to help us, because they can do things that we can't do with the equipment. And then our contractor at the water plant, BRB, out of Topeka, they came back, and they had no reason to come back. They just did it because they're partners with us right now in the project. Bernie actually was headed back home and came back again. They had equipment there that they allowed J&K to use, so J&K would bring it. I mean, it was perfect cooperation, and everybody that was involved. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Settles? Ms. Melton? Chief Breesy? Chief Johnson? Nothing, ma'am. Mr. Gurman?
Nothing this evening, Madam Vice Mayor.
Mr. Ibera? Mr. Lazier? Mr. Peterson? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, motion, or we're done. Thank you.